Hello classmates, welcome back to another Ramon at Home Masterclass. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 fabulous full decor DIYs that I know they're going to inspire you and learn some techniques, tips and tricks, also some hacks on how you can create these fabulous fall decorations. We're gonna get started with what's now a classic, a beautiful fall wreath on neutral colors. Let's take a look. All right, everyone, so for this first fall DIY of this season, yay, I'm so excited, it's finally fall. You guys know it's my favorite time of the year, but this year we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do a very neutral earth tone with white pumpkins all throughout the house, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. But for this first fall DIY, we're going to do a wreath, because as I mentioned to you before, you only get one chance to make an impact or a first statement that's at your door when your guests come in. So this is going to be absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait to give you all the steps. The things we're going to need is going to be number 1, our hot glue gun. I usually use a hot glue pen, but to show you some versatility, and because I know not everybody has a hot glue pen, but most people have a hot glue gun, so I'll show you that. I'm gonna use some of my favorite foliages that I am so obsessed with this year, which is going to be this maple foliage with a little acorn. I'm also gonna combine that with this beautiful eucalyptus, you guys. This is so beautiful, and I will be showing you in a minute. Our floors are going to be some of these beautiful hydrangeas. They're made out of burlap material in a mocha and a chocolate, a mocha and a coffee color. And these are from Shinoda. All of the flowers are. And look at these flowers, you guys. Oh my gosh, look at these roses. We're gonna use some of these roses in the same colors as well. I'm gonna use these lilies that we'll be using all throughout the video. And these lilies are so realistic looking, and I cannot wait to share with you. And for our flyaways, of course, we're gonna use some of these beautiful flowers as well. Woo, so excited. All right, so the inspiration for this is going to be our ribbon, you guys. How absolutely gorgeous is this ribbon? And I'm gonna be combining that with this beautiful glitter. Let's start that glitter, you guys. Let's not wait till Christmas. So we're gonna start with this glitter and this pumpkin ribbon. And for my, don't let me forget the pumpkins. We have some of these white pumpkins that are the inspiration. Of course, we have some large ones and some small ones that we will be adding to the design. Then for my tools, I have my scissors, my wire cutters that I cannot live without, some florist tape, a florist wire, there's a 16 gauge, and a lot of glue sticks. I'm so excited to use the glue gun. I usually don't use it very often, but just to show you some other ways to use your tools. All right, so I'm gonna clean up real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut all my foliages into 3, because we'll be separating them to save us some time. So let me get all this cleaned up and ready, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so I have cut all of my greenery that I'm going to use, both the eucalyptus and the maple. And so I'm gonna start by telling you about the wire, you guys. You cannot do this step, but I always recommend, first of all, you have to find the wreath shape that you like the best. So I'm gonna probably go, probably like that. So what you need to do is grab your wire, and then you're gonna get some of this florist tape that you can find at any floral supplier. It has this tacky wax in it, and you pull a little bit on it, and what you need to do is you need to cover this wire with this florist tape, because that's what we're gonna use to hang it from the door. And look, you pull and you basically spin, you pull, you spin, pull with one hand, spin the other one. You want to make sure that it's all covered on this. They already sell them already covered. So if you go to like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, I'm sure you can find them already covered, but because I don't have any, I have to cover them myself. So there's that extra step. So what we're going to do is we're gonna grab our wreath, and we're gonna go through right here, and we wanna go back, and very tightly we're going to wrap this wire. You do not want to miss this step, you guys, because that's what you're gonna use to hang it on your door. So you wanna also grab back and then just start spinning that wire around, and you give yourself this extra hanger right here. But for the video purposes, we're gonna do that because I need you to see the whole thing. All right, I'm super excited because I haven't gotten to use my hot glue gun in a long time. So what I'm going to do is, you know that I like to use one foliage at a time, and I always like to fluff them. So what you need to do is grab your hot glue gun, get it ready, and then you want to make sure that, first of all, it's working. All right, see, I haven't used it in so long that it's not even working. And I'm gonna start right here on the top. And we wanna make sure that we glue this together because it's going to be outside. So we wanna make sure that those elements don't get to our wreath. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. So make sure you open all of this and you add some glue right here. Are you guys as excited as I am for fall? I don't know where y'all from, and be sure to leave a comment down below, but it's been super hot here in California and I am ready for some cooler weather, and that is something that fall always delivers, so I'm really excited. Now I want to mention real quick, especially if you make this to sell, when you are adding your greeneries, you have to go all in one motion. I say clock motion or counterclock, pick one, but you don't want to go like that and then go like that because it kind of breaks that pattern, okay? I'll give you a lesson, and I've already told you this before, but what wreaths are is in ancient Greece, what they used to do is used to grab a garland and then they tie it at one end. So of course they did that spindle. I'm gonna get my hot glue gun. That spindle motion that we always see on those pictures, because they just grab a garland and they tied it. How smart were those Greeks, right? And so that's why you want to make sure that you always go on one continuous motion when you are designing a wreath. It just looks pleasing to the eye. I learned that at the flower shop where I worked. My ex-boss taught me so much. I would not be where I am without that gentleman, and I always like to tell people that because you know you pay dues to who deserves them, and he sure taught me so much. Just how I teach you, everything that I teach you is because he taught me. So thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna continue to go. And then also you wanna make sure that you go up and down, especially at this point right here, and the corners. You wanna make sure that you have some up and then some down, some in and some out. Like right here, I'm gonna go ahead and put one up, but I have to put it this way. You know what, I'm enjoying gluing with a glue gun. Do you have a glue gun or do you have a glue pen? How many of you have a glue pen? Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you have a glue pen and if you think it's easier with a glue pen. I think it's way easier because all you have to do is dip. However, it is way messier. It is cleaner with a hot glue gun, so I really do recommend. Now the other thing I don't like about the hot glue gun is because, well, you run out of glue real quick. Like right now I already have to insert another one. I'm gonna use all these little ones that I had because we already have them. Oh, I still have some. So all right, and make sure that you cut all of your foliages and use all of it on your designs. You don't want to leave any of your foliage. I'm gonna add one right here. This is gonna be so pretty, guys, with all of the bows. We're gonna do so many bows and so much glitter. I love glitter. How many of you like glitter? I'm gonna go up here, and you see how I did all one motion, like all one right here. Sometimes you have to stay away from this so you can see where do you need some, and I feel like I need here and here, so that's where I'm going to focus. So I'm gonna come down here and fill in that gap, and I have one more of this guy right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill in this gap right here. Okay, so now that we're done with this foliage, like that, I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is going to be this beautiful eucalyptus, but I think I do need my hot glue gun. Oh, there you go. I have a whole bunch of these little pieces that I bought a long time ago. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put that one right there. And these ones are a little too long and I don't want them to really overpower, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them in half. That way you get more anyways, and it doesn't overpower that other greenery. Look at that, how pretty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do like 2 at a time, and I'm gonna go on a glue or in a counter motion. So I'm gonna speed up this real quick for you guys so you don't have to watch me glue every single piece. So I'll be right back, keep watching. All right, so we have finished our wreath, our greening of our wreath, and I love it. I have let it sit for a few minutes so that glue really sits in and it gets tacky and will be permanent. So the next step will be to add some ribbons and some bows to our wreath. And as I told you before, I am obsessed with this beautiful pumpkin ribbon and then also this glitter ribbon. But the way I want to do it, oh, this is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. I hope you are as well. I want to give it a few tails, probably about 6-inch tail, and then I want to do a few of these bows. So I'm gonna do probably about a 6-inch loop. We're gonna do 3-inch loops, all right? So, and then we're gonna give it another tail. We're gonna grab a wire, and then we're going to twist it, and then we're gonna grab our scissors and we're going to cut right here, and then we're gonna put it aside. I'm gonna do another one. So basically about a 5-inch loop. I wanna do 3, and look how quick this can be done, you guys. You don't have to really take all that time to make these bows because, well, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be perfect. I continue to tell you that, you know, perfection doesn't exist. Mother Nature has not made one tree that is perfect, so therefore I don't know why we're looking to achieve perfection when the imperfection sometimes can be more beautiful than something that we perceive as perfect. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop that glitter one, and then also I'm gonna do, oh my gosh, this ribbon is so gorgeous. I'm gonna do with this one probably about 6 to 7-inch loops. And for this particular one, I'm gonna do 2 loop bows. I'm gonna do 3 because why not? Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Look how gorgeous this is. And then I'm going to grab my wire and I'm gonna wire it together like this. And I'm gonna give it another loop, another tail. And then I'm gonna put it over here, and we're gonna do one more. So about 4-inch tail. We pinch, we gather, we fluff. And as you guys can see, I want to do this in real time so you guys see how fast to put a beautiful wreath together. It really is. You don't have to take all of this time to put a wreath together, especially if you're doing it to sell, you guys. Your money is in your time. I always continue to tell people that I've coached before for their businesses, you are as good as you are fast. So therefore we have got to learn to work a little bit faster because our money is our time. All right, I have enough for another one. So I'm gonna do yet another one over here. I'm gonna pinch. Are you guys having fun? I'm having so much fun. I was waiting for the fall season to start because I love it so much and I have so many ideas, you guys. And I want to take a second to thank you for watching all of the Christmas in July that we did. There's going to be a lot more Christmas coming your way later on in the year, but right now we have to take a pause, take a step back and do some fall because, well, fall will be here very soon. So I just wanted to give you these ideas in case you want to decorate your house, in case that you're making this to sell. Well, let's get a head start. And let me tell you, I was at the stores and there's a lot of pretty stuff out. And if we wait, you know, it won't be there longer. So, okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to add one up here on the top. And for this one, I left a little bit longer of a tail and I'm just gonna find the place. I want it to be right in the center. So I'm gonna go through my hook that we made on the back. And then I'm going to attach right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and spin it around. And then I'll go back later on and then I'll cut those ribbons. So I'm gonna add one right there. Then I'm gonna do a glitter one. And I'm gonna add one right here, right next to it. I'm gonna go all the way back, making sure that I attach very tightly. Oy. Sometimes it's hard because all of this foliage, but just make sure that you go like this and then you go all the way back. I'm gonna move all the way over here so I can do it because it has to be really tight so it doesn't come crashing down. There you go. And then we're gonna fluff that like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go over to this side. Sorry if I disappear, but I have to go over to this side. And then we're going to add this guy, skipping all of this beautiful foliage like this. And I'm gonna attach this guy right there. Then I'm gonna grab one of my pumpkin ribbons, and while I'm on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and attach another one over here. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a space because there's going to be some pumpkins that are gonna come into play. So I wanna make sure that I have space for them in between the bows. But I also do wanna make sure that all of these are very tightly secure on the back, like this. And we'll go back and cut those dovetails, you guys. Then I'm gonna move over to this side, and I'm gonna go about 6 inches further down, and then I'm going to attach this guy right here. How beautiful is this looking? All right, so I'm gonna attach this really tight, like this. And I have this other one that I'm gonna put right here. Yeah, right here, almost to the middle. And I'm going to attach really tight, like that. All right, so give me a second while I dovetail all of these tails, and I'll be right back. Keep watching. Okay, so far I've added the greenery, and then I added all of these bows all scattered throughout the wreath, and I dovetail every single ribbon, and that was a lot of them. So the next step is going to be to add some of these beautiful pumpkins, and for that I have gathered some of these skewers, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch a hole on them, and then also what I want to do is I want to make sure that I add some hot glue to these stakes, so that way when it goes down it'll stay right there. So you want probably about a 3-inch leadway so you can have your pumpkin. So basically just poke it like that, stick it out, and add some glue to it. That's gonna make sure that that's permanent and that stake is not going anywhere. And I'm gonna do the same to these two right here that come on a package. These are also from Shinoda Design Center, and I absolutely love them because I love the color. They're perfect for this project, this neutral project. So basically what I'm going to do is go like that, and then I'm gonna add some glue to my stake, just a little bit, to make sure it doesn't come crashing down like that. There you go, and one more. I have some little ones that I don't know if I'm gonna use yet, but I got them out just in case. All right, so let's do that. And add some glue to it and stick it in there. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna start with this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna find a place for it. I'm gonna put it right here, so you kind of have to step back and see where you want it. Once you put the glue on it, make sure that you take your greenery and then you push it in like that. That's gonna stay like that. All right, and then let me see, I'm gonna add one over here on the top. And just make sure that that glue goes all the way down on your stake. You can smear it. And then I'm gonna open right here. I'm gonna add it right in here, like that. So that's 1, 2. I'm going to add this larger one. Let's see, where do I want this larger one? I think I want it right about, I wanna have 2 together, but I don't know exactly where. So I'm gonna put it down here on the bottom. Remember, there's going to be some floral still, but you always want to make sure that you put your larger items first. I'm going to add it right here, like that. Yes, that's pretty. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and I have one left. So, you know what? I'm going to put it right here with these 3. So I have 3. No, so I'm going to do some small ones right here. I'm going to add it up here. And once again, all you have to do is step back and see where it needs to go. So I'm gonna lift up this guy right here, and I'm gonna insert right here. Look how pretty that is. 2, 1, and then I'm going to grab some of these little ones. Oh, I'm so excited. This is turning out better than I thought. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and one that fell. I'm gonna disappear for a second. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this guy right here and go all the way in, pull it out, bring some glue, and I'm gonna do them as I go. So now I'm going to add some glue to this, and I'm gonna add this guy probably right here with this one, like that. Look how cute these are, you guys. Put a hole in it. This is probably one of my favorite wreaths that I've ever done, just because it's so different. Okay, we're gonna put some glue in there, and I'm gonna add one right about here, Look at that. At the end, we're gonna turn it around and we're gonna clip all of those stems that might be, this is another way you can do it. Just add some glue and then add the stake. It's basically the same. All right, so now I'm gonna add this one right here with these ones, like that. And I don't think it needs these two, although you know what, I'm gonna put one right here. I'm gonna cut this guy in half, and then I'm gonna add this guy right here, add some glue, and I think I'm gonna put it right about here with this one, like that. And okay, so now we're going to add our beautiful roses that are made out of burlap and some lilies. This is turning out more beautiful than I thought, and I'm super stoked. So what we're going to do is we're gonna cut some of these flowers. Now pay attention, we cut the flower and then we have some cute little foliage. Well, I'm also gonna cut that because I wanna use as much as I can for my product, because well, already, like I told you earlier, you just paid for it, so why not just go ahead and use all of it. All right, so what I'm going to do is get these tags, and always get your tags ready. I'm gonna start with these ones just to show you. So what I want you to do is get your rose and then give it a little curvature like this, and we're gonna start inserting these flowers. Not before we add some of this hot glue right here. Now, a lot of people ask me what hot glue I use. If I'm using my hot glue pen, there's a pellet glue that I like. But if I'm using this hot glue gun, then I like the Gorilla Glue because I think it's the best. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of this cute little foliage. Right where I put that flower, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add, somewhere near there, I'm gonna add some of this foliage because you wanna make sure that you support that flower with the foliage. You might not see it, but you know when you move around, you'll be able to see it, and it just makes sense that there's some of the foliage. All right, so I'm gonna add another one right here. I'm gonna give it a curvature, and from that curvature up, I'm gonna go ahead and add some glue, and I'm gonna come back out here and just add one right there. Remember, we'll fluff all these ribbons at the end. And then I'm gonna grab a chocolate one, because there's two tones. So we'll make sure that we cut this guy like that. Then we'll give it a curvature and add some glue right there. And I'm gonna come with this one right here where the pumpkin is. Make sure that I insert this guy right here. And you have to make sure that it goes into the form. I just burned myself a little bit. You guys didn't see me scream. I almost screamed, it was so hot. All right, so now I'm gonna grab this guy right here. And at this point, the reason why I'm burning myself is because there's so much foliage around that you have to really dig in there to be able to put your stems. I'll show you like this right here. I have to dig in, and then you have to make sure that you put in your flower like that. And for this one, I'm gonna add some of this foliage that I told you earlier. And I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of glue, fluff this guy, and then insert this foliage right here with that rose. See, and it's just a little pop of greenery that is different, then it really does make sense. All right, so now I'm gonna add one up here. And I'm gonna add this guy right behind my pumpkin. Then I'm gonna grab all of this beautiful green foliage, give them a fluff, and add right somewhere around there, like this. See, it just makes sense, that little pop of green. I'm gonna add one right here as well. I'm gonna cut this tag. Are you guys enjoying these DIYs? Please be sure to share this with your friends, you guys, and let them know what we're doing for fall, and let them know they don't wanna miss the Christmas season this year. There's going to be so many ideas, and I really do think that you are in for a treat this year. We're going big. We are going big for Christmas, and we're going big for fall. And I could not be more excited. All right, so I'm gonna add this guy right there. And now I have to go in with a little bit of this foliage. So make sure you put some glue in there. And I'm gonna lift up my ribbon. I'm gonna add it. I burned myself again, ow, ow. And remember, we'll fluff our bows towards the end. All right, so now I'm gonna put this few over here. Then I'm gonna add some lilies because we have them, and these ones, I really want them to fly away. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some glue right here. And I'm gonna lift up my ribbon right here. I'm gonna come down from the bottom like this. And I'm gonna put that lily right here, like that. I'm gonna grab yet another one, and I'm gonna come up from the bottom up. Remember to always keep that clock motion so your wreath looks balanced. I'm gonna come back from up here. All right, you guys, so far I love the way this is looking. It's so natural looking. However, I do feel like it needs a little bit of pizzazz, and for that I found this beautiful magnolia that I'm gonna be using on it. And just a few quick tips. Be sure to fluff them so you can see all of this beautiful design forward when you insert your magnolia. And then also, you know what, I'm gonna cut them in half because I feel like, let's see, yeah, so that way you get more. And then it's just a little touch to add that gold. And basically, once again, let's go ahead and give it a curvature, add a little glue, and be careful not to burn yourself again like I just did. I'm gonna lift up all of this right here, then I'm gonna insert like that. And look, that little magnolia just adds so much to the design. So I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm gonna add a little glue right here, and I'm gonna open up right here as well. And this time I'm gonna be really careful, and I'm gonna just go ahead and insert this guy right there and open it like this. Remember, we're gonna fluff all of our ribbons towards the end, because when you add ribbon first, and sometimes you have to add it first, it just really is hard to continue to work without having all of those ribbons a little disheveled, but you always fluff at the end. All right, well, to make this short, I'm gonna continue to do this all throughout the wreath, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, everyone, so I just wanna show you a close-up of this wreath and how it turned out. I am so in love with this ribbon, you guys. It's jam-packed with glitter, and it goes so well with the lilies and the white pumpkins. And I just love the way they look, how they just fell into the wreath. And the pumpkin ribbon is so absolutely beautiful. And all of these burlap flowers, the roses and the mocha and the chocolate. And the last touch that we added was that magnolia with the gold tips, and it just screams fall. And I really do hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and that you learned a few tricks. So be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right, everyone, so I want to show you real quick what this cute little basket looks like on the door. I am so obsessed with this pumpkin and the ribbon. Look how beautiful it complements each other, and it looks perfect, these neutral colors on the door. I also added up on the top a matching ribbon to go on our door hanger, and I just love these beautiful flowers from Shinoda Design Center. They are made out of burlap. Look how beautiful those hydrangeas are. They complement the lilies so perfectly, and they look so real, you guys. But I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment and let me know, what do you think? Well, you know that I'm always telling you, you only get one chance to make a first impression, and that is at the door with a fabulous fall wreath. But now I'm going to share with you a super quick and easy fall lantern DIY that is perfect for tabletop, an entryway table, the counter on your kitchen. It is super easy to create. Let's take a look. All right, you guys, so for the top of this particular lantern, I wanted to do something on these neutral colors. As you guys can see on the background, I really love me some fall colors, but I figured that for this year, we'd do something different. We've already done the traditional fall colors throughout the years here at Ramon at Home, so I thought that I'd show you something different. However, if you are not into the earth tones and the natural tones, you can just go ahead and replicate these with the materials of your choice. I'm just trying to show you something a little bit more different, so that way we have more options when it comes down to our decorating. So let me just take all of these tags off of these flowers and things, because we're going to cut them. So here you go. We're gonna have two of these beautiful roses. Then I'm gonna have a lily, and I'm gonna put them right here to the side. And I'm gonna start with this guy right here. So I want it to kind of hang down, but I wanna fluff it up a little. What I like about this foliage is that, look, you can really fluff by pulling these guys right here. and I want it to look full but not overpowering my lantern. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fluff this one too, but you know what, I think that this one is too big. So sorry if I cross over here. I think I'm gonna cut it short, and of course I'm gonna use the rest of it for another project that I will be showing you in a second. So don't be afraid to cut your stems, you guys, because you already paid for it, and guess what, sometimes you get more use out of them if you cut them than if you try to keep them all whole. And my goodness, this one is a good quality one because it's hard to cut. All right, so now I'm gonna put this one over here to the side. I'm gonna actually pitch it for now. And I think for this particular one also, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut a little bit of it. Yeah, I think that's good. If I need to cut a little bit more, then I'll do that. But the reason I wanted to do that is because I want this larger one to be my base, right? And remember, where you grab right here, that's your core, and you never let go of that because everything needs to radiate from that. So we're gonna layer 2 of these right here, like so, and then I'm going to come back, and right here at the core, I need to put the other one. So basically, I want it to be longer on the bottom and a little bit shorter on the top, staggering it like this. And then also I'm gonna add this one right here. So as you can see, it is way longer and fuller on the bottom than it is on the top, and you can always fluff this when we add our bow. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add this beautiful lily, and I'm gonna add her right here, and then also this beautiful rose. I am obsessed with these roses. They are made out of burlap. Aren't they just adorable? And then I'm gonna add this other rose, but I'm gonna add it coming down like this. So I'm gonna put her right here. Okay, so now that we have everything right here at our core, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my zip tie, and I'm gonna zip tie all of this together. So it's basically a bouquet of flowers, making sure that our zip tie is facing the right way. All right, oh, sometimes it's so hard to work just one hand, but we'll make do. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm having so much fun sharing brand new fall decorations, ideas, and decorating ideas for your home this fall. I'm super excited, and I really hope that you are as well. All right, so now that we have all of this, what I wanna do is I wanna cut some of these stems because they're way too long. So I'm gonna cut that one. We're gonna cut this one and this one. Also, you don't want them to be on the way of your, there you go. Now it's a little bit airier. So I'm gonna put this to the side for now, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make a beautiful bow. And I, for that, want, you know, this ribbon, I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes this ribbon looks so pretty on the spool, but they are upside down. Because if I was to start to make a bow like this, then my pumpkins are upside down. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop it on the floor, and I'm gonna go all the way. You know, it's gonna be a little bit of work, but since we're gonna be using the whole bolt, then it's better if you do this. You know, also put it on the floor. So now our pumpkins are going to be the right way. I don't know why they always do that, but sometimes it's just hard when you're working. All right, so I'm gonna leave a tail about per 8 inches, and I'm gonna pinch right here. And I want a really pretty bow, so I'm gonna make a center loop. And if you guys have not seen my video where I show you how to make bows, 3 styles of bows, if you are a little bow challenge like how I was at the beginning, that's why I put out that video. I'm gonna link it down below, and so you guys can check it out. So basically you just pinch and then you spin. The secret here is on the spinning, because you wanna make sure that all of that pretty stuff is showing and all of your pumpkins are showing. You know what, I'm gonna do a six loop bow, and the middle one I'm gonna make it a little bit longer. But for that, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you separate these two. That way when you insert the next, you put it right here in the middle. And as you guys can see, look how pretty that turned out. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a wire, and I usually like to have my wire taped, but because I wasn't prepared, I'm just gonna use it like this. But I usually like to tape it because it is way easier and it doesn't hurt your fingers when you pull on it. So I really do recommend to tape your wires. Okay, so I'm gonna pull really tight, and then I'm going to spin right here like that. So now that I did that, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut this ribbon over here. And so now what I wanna do is I wanna add this ribbon bow to my swag over here. And look how pretty and neutral this is, you guys. I just love these neutral colors for fall. I think it's something different, and I just love it. All right, so now I'm gonna spin it twice on the back, and with the same wires that I have, I'm gonna grab my lantern, I'm gonna spin around right here, and I'm gonna bring my lantern over here to the center. 1 second. Actually, yeah, let me do that real quick. So I'm gonna spin really tight right here, and we'll fluff in a second. I just wanna make sure that it's tight and secure right here on the back. So now what I want you to do is you're gonna squish this down like this and gonna arch it a little bit. Now I'm gonna spin it to me so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, that's so pretty. But what I do need to do is grab this tail and I'm gonna push it down. I'm gonna weave it down through all of it. So it goes down like this on my bow, and the same with this one right here. And then what you also wanna do is like these flowers, you wanna make sure you bend them up like this so they show. Let me see. That is so pretty, you guys. Look how gorgeous it is. A neutral pumpkin design for a lantern. Don't forget to dovetail, you guys, because I have been reading your comments and I've been called out so many times now for a few reads that I did that I forgot to dovetail. And sometimes when you make so many of them, you do forget, but not this time. You guys are not gonna get me on this design. Look how gorgeous this is. So now we're going to fluff right here. Make sure that this flower also comes down like this. Oh my gosh, how absolutely beautiful is this? All right, everyone, so I just wanted to give you a quick close-up of what this lantern design turned out to be like. And as you guys can see, the little pumpkin inside with the mint julep cup with just a touch of greenery, it's enough to make a statement. And what really makes the statement here is this beautiful bow with this pumpkin ribbon. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And all of this eucalyptus really picks up from the ribbon, and just a few flowers does the trick to make it look fall, to make it look neutral and very earth tone. As I mentioned to you before, if these are not your colors, then you can always copy the design with your colors of choice. But remember, we'll be doing some traditional colors in a future video. This video is all about the neutrals for fall decorating, and I really hope that you enjoy it. What do you think? All right, you guys, well, for our last fall DIY, we're going to create a fabulous fall centerpiece in neutral colors. Let's watch. Okay, so I wanted to use some of these beautiful hydrangeas. They are made out of burlap, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a little bit of this stem right here. Then I'm gonna add some glue, and I'm gonna start put it right here in the middle where I always like to start, which I call the crown. You start in the crown right here, and then you push down, making sure that that stays. So now I'm going to alternate to the next color, which is this mocha color. So this comes in a chocolate color and a mocha, and I think they're perfect for fall. So I'm gonna do 2 right there. And then I'm gonna do a 3rd one on the mocha color. I'm sorry, the chocolate color. They're similar looking, but they're not the same. So I have to call them what they are. So I'm gonna make sure that I go all the way over here in the corner, making sure that it goes into the foam like this. Look how pretty that is. And it just alternates the colors. So now we're gonna do this guy right here, making sure that I take that tag off so she doesn't see tags on her things. I'm super excited to also work with customers that custom order these things for me. They contacted me and they liked my work, and so now they're buying these things from me. So I just thought it'd be really fun to share with you all of these DIYs in case that you have customers, or if you just want to do them for your home, you know, just to get a few ideas, new ideas for this fall season. So now I'm gonna push that one in like that. So that's cute. And so now what I'm going to do, I have one left, so I think I'm gonna stop right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these pumpkins, and remember what we did on the wreath. What we're going to do is I'm gonna grab a bunch of these skewers and I'm gonna cut them in half. And then I'm gonna do a little dot of glue right here. Then I'm gonna push this guy in so he stays glued in, and then I'm gonna add some glue to my pumpkin stick. Then I'm gonna start bringing those here and just pushing like that. And so I'm gonna do a second one. Remember, when you're working with these materials, because they're styrofoam, you have to make sure that you put glue so it doesn't come crashing down on you. Then you add a little bit of glue like that to the stick. Now I'm gonna add it right here, like that. So you wanna go kinda like this in a zigzag motion. I'm gonna do a third one. I'm gonna add this guy right here. Do you know what? I'm kinda liking working with a glue gun again. I haven't used it in so long, but now I'm like, oh, this is kinda convenient. So you guys might see me using this hot glue gun again a lot. All right, so now I have this one that I'm gonna add right over here. Once again, just add a little dab of glue, put your skewer in or your stick or steak, add a little bit of glue, let it run down so you don't burn yourself. I'm gonna come down over here like that. And I have one last one that I think I am going to add because why not? Oh, she already paid for it, so why not just give it to her, right? So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna break, and then I'm gonna add some glue right here. All right, and then I'm going to add it, put it right here in the middle. All right, so now that I've added all of the pumpkins and all of the hydrangeas and foliages, this is what it's looking like. But I found this cute little flower on my stash, and let me grab my wire cutters over here, and I think I'm gonna add all of them just because I love the shape and I think that's going to add a lot of texture into this bouquet. So I'm gonna add 6 of them. So basically what I do is I just cut them all at once because, well, if you've been following the channel, oh my goodness, this one is really hard. You know that it'll save you some time when you're doing this kind of work if you cut them all at once. All right, so now what I'm going to do, look how pretty they are though. Aren't they perfect for this? So I'm gonna cut, I just want this to kind of peekaboo. I'm gonna add some glue to it, and I'm going to alternate from where I put the pumpkins. Look at that, that just adds something cute to the arrangement, another texture. And when you are making any type of floral arrangement, whether it's natural or whether it's silk, you wanna add as much texture as you can to your bouquets. And once again, we're gonna zigzag like this to add interest as well. You guys, I am having so much fun. I cannot tell you how much fun I'm having while I decorate for fall this year. There you go. You want to make sure that it goes into the foam. And I'm going to add one over here to the back. You want to make sure that you put them all throughout the bouquet. I have a few more and I want to distribute them to make sure that I get them all the way to the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to the other side immediately, so I make sure that I have them all throughout like that. I have one left that I think I'm going to put over here on the top, and I ran out of glue again. That is the one thing about the glue gun, that you have to start putting sticks on it. Perfect, that is so cute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a cute little bow. I'm going to get a little stake and then also a wire to wire it together, and I'm gonna make a cute bow. I don't want it to be too big, of course, because it's not that big of a centerpiece, but I do want it to match perfectly our wreath and our basket. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna dovetail real quick to start with a dovetail, a perfect dovetail, and then I'm just gonna do about, I want to say about probably 4 larger loops, about 5 inches each. And I don't know if I told you this before, but a way to know if your loops are even is if you fold down like this, so your bows are always perfect. And then also to spin around to make sure you get all of that designer pattern up front. So I think I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna cut right here where it'll dovetail in a second. I'm gonna grab a wire and go back, and then I'm gonna very tightly spin around. So basically I just want those 4 loops. Then I'm gonna grab this stake right here, and I'm gonna spin these wires around the stake, and that's what we're gonna use to insert into our centerpiece. And if you wanna make sure that it really stays there, what you can do also is just add a dab of glue right here, and then add a dab of glue to the stake. And so now what we're going to do is we're gonna look for a spot. Let me see, where do I need my bow? I think I'm gonna add it right here. So I'm gonna lift that up, And then I'm going to push all the way in, like this. Then I'm going to dovetail. Yeah, that's cute. It's just a little touch and it makes it look cohesive with the rest of the look. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some tails. I dropped my ribbon, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a clean cut right here. Then I'm going to dovetail. And I want these tails to be probably about this long. So I'm going to cut right here. Then I'm going to basically just pinch, gather and pinch. And grabbing a stake, cut it in half. And then grab a wire, kind of like what we did with the bow. Basically just go back like this. And really tightly, you grab your stake. And then you start spinning those wires around like this until you can spin no more. We'll add a little bit of glue to the wire so it doesn't come crashing down, and then also on the stake. And then I'm gonna insert this guy somewhere right here, making sure that goes all the way down so that you only see the tails like that. And then give me a second while I dovetail them like that. And then one more right here. And voila, let me get it ready and I'll give you a close-up. Keep watching. All right, everyone, so this is what the end result looks like for the centerpiece. I just went ahead and added a few more tails of the ribbon, and I filled in with the hydrangea, and I think it looks so beautiful to match the wreath that we made. And I really do hope that you enjoyed it and that you learned a few things about how to make a full centerpiece step by step. Thank you guys so much for watching. Well, classmates, that's all I have for today, and I really hope that you learn a few tips, tricks, and hacks on how to create beautiful fall wreaths, centerpieces, and a cute little lantern for your home. Thank you for watching, and I will see you, remember, every Wednesday live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time and every other Sunday here at Masterclass. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.